What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. The one thing about death that has put a potent question up in the air for me to ponder is, in death, how do you honor the life that has lived? That's the question that I keep thinking about. What I find really hard to swallow about the concept of death is how finality is achieved within a second. A person is here today, right now, physically present to touch. The next second, you are burying or cremating the very body you have known your entire life. This happens in seconds. It's such a weird thing to grasp. And what I also find bothersome about it is that the more as time passes, now being over 2 weeks already since my father has passed, I find it really difficult to accept again that we just die. And in a second, everyone moves on with their life, which, as they should. But we literally just go on about our day as if the person never existed. Even things like what was my father's wealth, his belongings, all that he managed and conserved so he can make it last for decades, is now within a second up for grabs and being divvied up. It's so hard to accept how quickly this happens. Some part of this occurred to me the day after my father died, when my mom asked me to slow down. Literally hours after he passed, it was early morning. We now knew we had to make arrangements for a lot of things and process stuff. And my first instinct, when I have a bunch of stress in my body, and now time available early in the morning, is to go process this energy in my body by hitting the gym. I immediately wanted to go to the gym. I didn't see anything weird about that. It's my medicine, and I needed it in this moment more than I ever have. And right then, my mother asked me to not go. I first thought it was because she didn't want to be alone. And I asked her directly if that was the reason, but she said no. And she told me softly that usually in the first 3 days, we aren't supposed to go outside like that freely. I didn't understand it at the moment. I just wanted to work out. But I didn't go just out of respect for what she asked for. Again, not because I understood why it was important, other than some vague reason that she gave me of how it's not the best thing to do. Maybe it was a religious thing. Maybe there was some universal lesson in there about how to handle death. I didn't get it, but I stayed home. I didn't go to the gym for almost a week and a half after that. Only now do I realize why it was important I didn't go. And it goes back to what I said earlier about what bothers me. What my mom maybe didn't even understand is that a way to honor the life that has lived is to slow down for a moment, is to sit in the loss, to not just go on about your day, about your life as if nothing happened, to allow yourself and even the soul that has just transitioned to be given the space in which it can detach from the physical world and for you from their physical presence. It's not just about being sad either. It's about just being present. Because I'm not exactly sure what the right thing to feel is either. I don't want to artificially make myself sad or keep myself sad when in the moment I'm distracted and having a regular conversation. But I do question what I should be feeling to properly honor my father and his loss. You see, I didn't realize at the time, but now as more time has passed, I realized how if I had a choice, I would stop time so no one felt like they were losing time from their actual life, but I would stop it so we can all sit in the loss of my father and we can pay respect to the magnitude of the loss that it is, to allow ourselves to feel the enormity of it without having to balance it with the ongoings of regular life. It really bothers me that people just go poof and disappear and we just go on about our lives. But obviously, no such way to stop time exists. I must accept the passing of it. And so that's where I realized the importance of these rituals and how beautiful they are. And I'm agnostic about my religious beliefs. I've probably quoted every holy book on this show. I don't know how to pick the best door if they all lead to the same place, to God. So that also puts me in the disposition to not necessarily resist rituals either. Unless something is a clear violation of what I believe, and I have rejected a bunch of things that I don't believe in, unless it's something like that, I will just go along with what is most commonly practiced by elders around me. Especially at a time like this, where everyone has their own idea, but if you see through it, everyone's goal is just to make peace with the loss and make sure that the person lost also finds peace for their soul. So I've been going through a bunch of rituals. The prayers at the funeral, each step of which has a meaning. Beautiful things like this part, we are praying for the food that he will carry along the way so he can offer them to the guides he meets. Such beautiful ideas. And there are designated prayer days, one on the 4th day, a lighting of the candle on the 10th day, going to put that candle in a stream of water and never looking back at it on the 11th day, another prayer on the 13th day, a prayer when we go and return his ashes into the ocean, and a monthly prayer for my father for a year. All these things have their own significance. And in each of them, there are little steps that I can't say I fully understand, but I know they carry significance. What I realized is these rituals are what I wished for. Delivered in the context of reality, my wish for stopping time and having all of us sit in it is obviously not possible, but what these rituals function as is a very real way for time to be stopped in a sense, for all of us to sit in it with days marked and designated to pay respect to he who has lived and now passed. It's a beautiful way for all of us to slow down and not just move on with our life like nothing happened. It's a way to give significance, even while life is going on and the days are passing, to slow down and metaphorically act as if time has stopped. And we are sitting in the loss of the person while trying to catch the passing days with the net of rituals on each specific day. And it doesn't allow this time just for the immediate family who feel more directly affected by the loss, but it also allows for the people who are slightly removed from the day-to-day, so maybe they won't miss the daily physical presence, but they can still sit in the feeling of having lost the occasional or seasonal or historical relationship they have with this person. It's quite beautiful. There's also another thing I realized about these rituals. They're almost a rite of passage. There are certain things that only a son can do, a man can do. The prayers, specific steps in each things like who presses the cremation button and who lowers the ashes into the water. Every step of the way, I saw even my father's brothers who could easily have done the step or have taken something from my hand and done it. I noticed they didn't. They knew it was my place to do it, and they respected the rituals around that. And no one was able to explain to me the reason as to why the son has to do these things. I think there must have been feelings in my siblings or my brother in laws who are just as, if not closer, with my father to have stepped into the role of what I was doing or wanting to and doing what I was supposed to do. But again, I realized why it is the son who has to do it and why it is a man that has to do it. And it is not because I am a man. It's so I can be a man. These rituals are designated for the son, for the man, not because he is a man. It's so that he can become one. The difficulty, the emotions, the imprint it leaves on you. I can understand why I am the one who has to do this for my parent. And I wouldn't wish this on anyone that I love either. What would they do with this quality that is for me to develop? This hardening, this pain, and the followed adjustment that is for me to make. It cannot be outsourced. It is the growth that I must go through. Load with my name on it to carry. No one else's to bear. And you are allowed to take as long as you need to heal. These rituals do help you along in that healing process. But you can take years to accomplish what can happen in a profound moment of silence. I love you, family. Stay true always. I see you on the next show.